Okay, it's me again, and it's actually really it's the same day. Just I moved in the classroom, so maybe I can, trick you into thinking that I worked really hard one day and then postponed, and the second day I did more. But I thought I wanted to finish this today. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. I don't have a good place here to really hold the book open as much, so I'm going to show the book and then we'll sign from there. Okay, so we left off with the worm who came. Now we're going to do this page. Like a tiny mole, it ate a tiny hole in the big red apple. Now this page has been giving me fits, but I think I can kind of explain how to do it. So first thing we want to do is get the basics in place, okay? The kids are going to notice there's a bee flying around. Okay, so I'm going to show that. And then the apple is still here on the ground, and then here's the worm, okay? So that's the basics. We've set up the picture. So we want to show the worm coming, just basically eating his way through, and then there's a hole, this little hole there. Okay, you don't even have to sign the hole. You don't have to show that it's small right now. You can keep it really simple. There's the apple right here. Here comes the worm. Okay, he just eats a hole through the apple. It's pretty clear. If you want to add some more information like the big red apple or the important thing at the top here, like a tiny mole, you can add that too. So if we back up a little bit, we can say, first of all, there's a bee flying around, and then there was the apple, the big red, not big, I should be careful, big red apple here. Here comes the worm. He eats it. And then you could add the same, just like the same as a mole. That was one of the words you asked me. A mole. You know, you've seen the moles with the star nose. That's a sign that someone had shown me a long time ago, so I hope it's right, but mole. Mole. And you can spell that word too. Never be afraid to finger spell. It's an animal. You could show them a picture of it. You can use the internet, look it up. Say this animal right here, it's called a mole. M-O-L-E. A mole. Do you see its nose? It's got a big nose with the little tentacles. It's kind of a funny animal. The next page says, a bird came. So again, show the picture. There's the sun shining in the sky. And then you could sign, who comes? Bird. And just act like you're flying in. So you can shine the sun. Sorry, this camera's not perfect. I need to back up a little more, but you draw a circle and have it shine towards you. That's the sun. So there's the sun. And then you can ask that rhetorical question. There's a lot of this in American Sign Language. Who comes? A bird that flies in. Okay. And if you even want to, you can use this. It's a classifier for something with two legs. Okay, comes flying in and lands, or maybe it doesn't land. We'll see what happens next. But you can use this to show moving, or you can use this classifier also to show something small moving around. Well, that's a little more complicated. I think probably simple is best. You show the sun shining. Who came or what came? Probably what would be even better. What came? A bird. And you could show it flying in. So on this page, you underline squawk. So that's an onomatopoeic word, which is a crazy word by itself, but it's a word that shows a sound. So for deaf kids, it's not the same. They won't know what a bird squawking sounds like, so we have to kind of show them. So what we're going to do is, here's the worm. You could even show the worm. It's kind of full because it's been eating the apple, right? And then the bird comes flying in and lands. And then here's the worm, and the bird, he just kind of eats it. So the worm, you could have him grab it, and even there's all kinds of ways you could do it. You could either, you can even sign ate. The bird came flying in. Here's the worm on the ground. The bird grabbed it and ate it. Okay. As far as the big, loud squawk, just kind of show with the fingers for the beak. Okay, just for the squawk. There's not a specific sign for that. You just have to show that the bird is being noisy. So you can see I'm kind of working through this as I read it with you today, but what I would suggest is you've got the worm here. The bird came flying in. You can even have the bird notice it and then grab it and eat it all gone. And then the bird could go. Okay, that's all I would do. Next, it says it pecked the big red apple, then it flew off. So we had the worm, we had the bird come flying in. He noticed the worm, grabbed the worm, and then ate it. And then he squawked, "Ah, ah." Then all of a sudden it's going to look over and it's going to see the apple. And the bird would hop over and go peck, 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 peck. That's how we're going to do pecked. Just like its beak again, it's just pecking the apple. Peck the apple. And then you could say then or after that's all done, flew off, flew away. Okay, so again, we did all that with the bird and the worm, and the bird ate the worm, and then it cawed loudly. And then, remember, there's still the apple here on the ground. So the bird comes hopping over, pecks the apple. Maybe it doesn't like it. Pecks the apple. All done. Bird flies away. Okay, bird flies away. That's how I would do. Then it flew off. Okay. The next page says, a boy came. He picked up the big red apple. Thonk. He slapped it in his hand like a juicy red baseball. Not an easy first book. You know, these books that are really, basic low-level books have a lot of language in them. They're designed that way to have a lot of basic language that if you don't know the rules for ASL, they can be very difficult. My ASL is not perfect, so even I find them challenging. So what we're going to do first is we're going to show the apple where it's at, and we're going to show the boy coming in, him picking up the apple and then throwing it into his hand, and we'll describe that, okay? So we still have the apple is here, and then there's a boy. He comes walking in. This is just my pointy finger is for the boy, and it's called a classifier. You can use it, you can walk around with it, you can run in circles, you can have an old man bent and walking over, you can have someone jumping up and down because they're excited. Okay, but this is just a boy, he's just walking in. So there's the apple, and then there's a boy comes walking in, he sees the apple, picks it up. Yeah, so we just changed from classifiers. Now I'm the boy, I've picked up the apple. I look at it and throw it into the hand. You have to have it be kind of, this takes practice. So you'll practice this story as you're reading it. So you've got the apple in this hand, you're going to throw it into the other hand and then catch it. If you're really skillful, you could throw it, have it here, and you could throw it and kind of catch it and have the other hand. The better you do that, the more convincing the visual is going to be for them. That motion is thonk. That's how you're going to do thonk, is you've got the apple here, this hand's kind of flat, and you throw it into the other one. That's how you show that sound, thonk. And then you can point to it and say it's the same as a red baseball, and then you could sign juice and delicious, just for juicy, something for delicious or juicy. You could sign just delicious, that would be fine. But most of the kids know juice. Juice is like using your thumb and kind of peeling off the back of your hand. Juice, okay? So again, that whole page, a boy came, he picked up the big red apple, thonk, he slapped it in his hand like a juicy red baseball. Well, you're going to sign that. That's my best guess on how I would sign it in ASL. Next page. Crunch, crunch, crunch. He ate the big red apple. This is another, whoa, my finger never points where I think on the camera. This is another onomatopoeic word. That's another word that represents a sound that deaf kids can't hear, but they can kind of see what it looks like a little bit. So we're going to make it really visual for them, okay? So again, we would sign boy. He has the apple here. I'm going to do it really big, make big facial expression. Do it 3 times. And the 3rd time. What do you think? Are you convinced? And then you're going to point to the boy. Okay? So, the whole thing again. You're showing the boy. He has the apple in his hand. Real exaggerated facial expression. Really show your jaw moving for chewing it up. 3 times. And then say, point again, the boy, he ate the big red apple. More ASL, you could go even, making me think. I think I would say probably the best thing to do would be to say, you remember the apple that was big and red? He ate it. Something like that. It's called a topic comment structure. So you're talking about the apple. So you're saying this is the apple, the one that's big, that's red. And then you point to the boy and you say, he ate it.